Hey, it's Johnny from the Collector's Quest podcast, and it's nearly October, so that means Halloween games, and I'm going to be showing them off all month long. They may be classics like Super Castlevania 4, or they might be beloved PC games like Day of the Tentacle, but a weird variant like this Obelisk box. Or I might get really obscure on you and pull out something like this, Splatterhouse, but it's from Japan, and it's an LCD game. Who knows what I'm going to show? Who knows what shirts I'm going to wear? But if you're looking forward to this kind of content, you can find it here all month. Starting off October with an absolute classic. Haunted House for the Atari 2600 came out in February of 1982, often cited as being a progenitor to the survival horror genre. I don't know if that's true. It doesn't quite meet the criteria, but there's no denying that it is historically important and a very interesting game and very influential. And it is not that expensive. It does have a glue seal, though, which means the box is always kind of damaged, but that keeps the cost down. $20 to $40 CIB if that's how you want it. If you want it sealed, it's going to be anywhere from $120 to $500, depending on if it's graded and, again, the condition. It does have some variants, like this great one. This is the Sears Telegame variant. It comes in this pleasing orange and black color scheme, but it's got this number 9, which is a little off-putting, and the box art is a little cropped, but still very cool. Also a glue seal, though. This one's a bit rare. It goes anywhere from $40 to $80. Definitely worth owning, especially at a price point of $40 to $80. Another October day, another classic. Today we have Castlevania, and you could hardly ask for more out of a collectible. It has an easily identifiable first print. It has many variants: circle seals, oval seals, hang tab, non-hang tab versions. It's got everything. You could spend as much money as you want on this. It's a classic series. It's well-loved. It's a good game. You could buy it for $100 and get an ugly oval seal, or you could spend as much as $5,000 and get a 9.0 sealed hang tab graded by WATA. My advice to you, though, is just to find the nicest copy you can afford. Preferably, maybe this circle seal rather than an oval. Maybe avoid the hang tab and just get a nice clean copy and spend, like I said, as much as you can afford, but don't go crazy. Maybe reach for a hang tab if you find a deal. But if not, you're never going to go wrong owning Castlevania. Absolute classic. Today I have for you Mickey's Wild Adventure, a PAL exclusive. But wait, not really. Keep an eye on this cover, because this is actually just Mickey Mania. Mickey Mania for the Sega CD, Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, Genesis. It's all over the place, except they don't have this cover, this sweet PAL exclusive cover. Mickey looks like, I don't know, the warden of the Seventh Circle of Hell out hunting his prey. Look at him. He's out for blood. This is the copy to get. It's worth the price of admission. It's only like $20. There's a Platinum Hits copy. There's a version that comes with the music CD. It's a PAL game, so there's all kinds of variants depending on the territory. Go find this game. It also has spooky gameplay. You fight the Mad Doctor and the Lonesome Ghost. It's a great Halloween pickup, and it's a perfect game to add to the Halloween collection. And look at Mickey. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. It's amazing. On this fine October day, I bring to you the Haunted Mansion. It has my favorite type of variant, the movie ticket variant, and it was released across all 3 major systems of the time: Xbox, PS2, and the GameCube. See the badge on all of them, except the second print and later release does not have the badge. That's on all of them. So across all 3 systems, you will find it without this badge. They all come with this reg card, TDK. It's slightly different for each system, so you can't just swap them out. And the movie ticket, for those that do come with it, looks a little bit like this. So check that out. It's a great little game to pick up. It's sub $20 most of the time. And the difference between movie ticket and non-movie ticket is all the same. So there's no price variant there. There was even going to be a GBA copy. This game was almost completed, and then they canceled it right at the end. So didn't come out, but you can still find the ROM. So find yourself a copy of the Haunted Mansion to add to your Halloween. And playing Galaga, just think, man, this game could really use Satan. If only Satan was in this game, then I would be having fun. Well, I have a treat for you. Satan's Hollow for the Commodore 64. Originally released as an arcade cabinet, this is the only physical release of it outside of that cabinet. It was made for the Atari 5200 and suite of computers. However, those were never released. It is in a compilation pack. That's the Midway Arcade Treasures. You can find it there. But the standalone single release for a console or a computer is this Commodore 64 version. It's a little hard to find. It's about $100. And maybe more if you want the box. That's just the loose disc, 50 to 100. I say pass on this game. The best thing about it is the title. Look how dumb Satan looks. Look at him. He looks awful. He looks aquatic. And the trident, nay, pitchfork, isn't helping and rising out of the blue. And these are actually gargoyles, not pterodactyls. And look at how dumb his arms look in the title. Pass on today's entry. Spirits and Spells for the GBA, at least in North America. In PAL territories, it was called Castleween. And in Japan, Mayo no Pumpkin. But I don't have that to show you. Anyways, let me get into this. This is as good as it gets when we get to Halloween gaming. It takes place on Halloween. It's a 2D action platformer. You get to play as a witch or a devil, depending on who you select, and you enter the land of the dead to save your friends. You go through haunted houses and over graveyards. You fight witches and spiders and all those Halloween baddies. It is as good as it gets. Like I said, it oozes Halloween, and it's a great game to add to the collection. Unfortunately, if you want CIB, this game is like $300, but a card only is like $35. You can get this one, which you can play in your North American GBA, for like $100. So that's not so bad. There's also PS2 copies and GameCube copies, but those are not the same game. Those are 3D adventure games. Not quite the same. Anyways, add these to your Halloween game. Beetlejuice, a great movie, a not so great game made by LGN for the Nintendo in 1990. So this game is kind of typical of other movie games that happened on the Nintendo, where it's more like someone heard about the movie and made a game without actually watching it, and that's what happens here. While the Beetlejuice script is insane, this is not that kind of fun insanity. It's just disconnected. It's also an expensive game, kind of. Let me explain. So you can get the card only for about $30. You can get a box copy for about $100, $120. But where it gets crazy is if you want all of the inserts. It's got a reg card, that's just an LGN reg card, and it's got a movie poster, but that's specific. It's the box art for this game, and if you want that version, it's going to run you between $200 and $260, and it's selling at that. So that's a lot to pay for a game that's not great. And if you don't love it, then maybe pass on another October day and another game for the Halloween collection. Grabbed by Ghoulies for the original Xbox. You might be thinking, Johnny, what is significant about this game? Why this one? This is developed by Rare, a very popular developer, and it's the first game released by Rare after they were bought out by Microsoft. This was originally being developed for the GameCube. But even better, this is an Xbox exclusive. You could challenge me on that term by saying, hey, Johnny, I know that was released in the Rare Action Replay, but as a standalone game, and as exclusivity is a very watery term now, this one is still the only standalone copy for an Xbox. So get this game. It's sub $20. It's developed by Rare. It's Halloween themed, cel shaded, spooky action. But make sure you get this. This book comes in here. This makes it complete, not just the manual. Get it. On this October day, I bring you back to the year of 2013. The year of... Wait a minute. Hold on. There. The year of Luigi. And you got this 3DS. You got Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, Luigi's Mansion 2, as it's also called. You got this cool badge on this sweet system, which is actually a Black Friday release. You got this awesome art, but that's all that's awesome about this. This Cobalt Blue DS, it's just a DS. There's nothing going on here. There's nothing special or Luigi about this aside from the box. So don't buy this. It's a couple $100. Get rid of that and buy this instead. Just the first print. You can buy this for $25 to $30. You can get the player select one for like $20 CIB. Don't buy that. Buy this one, or you can get it sealed for like $75, which is fine if you want that. Price has been going up. Just don't get the one with the little sticker now on the 2DS. Don't get that one. That's a later print. Get the first print if you're going to buy a sealed copy, or just buy a CIB. That's way better.
Are you interested in the occult? Strained family relations, murder and death, the English countryside, mysteries, mayhem, small box PC games, point and click, adventure, madness? Then surely you are interested in the Black Mirror. No relation to the television show. This game is a point-and-click PC adventure from 2003. It has many sequels and even a reboot. It was moderately successful, which means its price, though for a mature audience, is a child's budget of $10. Enjoy it, or don't. But don't blame me if the reflection you see is your.
For the Commodore 64. It has you stranded on an island, and your girlfriend has been kidnapped and stashed by a mad doctor who is creating monsters, but not these monsters, even though they populate the island and there's a pyramid. But don't worry about the story. That doesn't really matter. They wanted to make a game where you got to fight cool monsters, and they didn't want to sacrifice that. You see Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman. That's the Mummy. There's witches. There's a castle. Like, it's just a Halloween game. It's just Halloween all the way through. Unfortunately, the game isn't great, and it's got some game-breaking bugs that happen if you use the map. So, this game was rated mediocre. It's an arcade adventure game. This version will cost you, I don't know, $20, $30, but you're going to probably have to get it from the UK. And there's also a Commodore Disc version, which runs a little bit more expensive, about $100. Cool cover, bad game. Up to you.
Hey guys, it's your boy Jason. I know I normally don't say anything, but it's been a really sad day, and that's bad because it's Friday the 13th. It should be my favorite day, man. But I don't know if you heard, but Friday the 13th, the game, they're shutting down the servers on December 31st. You're not going to be able to buy this game anymore after that. So you'll be able to play for a year, but after that, it's going to be gone. So December 31st, 2024, you can't play. And December 31st this year, you can't buy it anymore. If you're going to buy it, I suggest this one, the Ultimate Slasher Edition, because it comes with all the DLC. And that's like pretty cool. But if you want to be a collector, you can get this one. And it's for the PS4 or the Xbox. Comes with the mask. It's like $150. Xbox is like $300. They also have for the original one, because like when it came out, it was a Kickstarter. You can get it for like $500 signed or like $300 not signed. Anyways, man, I needed to talk to someone. I just needed to talk to someone, Like, because you know me, I love to slash. I'm in it to win it, man. Like, I love the game. I'll slash in remote areas like Crystal Lake. I'll go to the city, Manhattan. I'll slash there. You can't stop me, man. Like, I'll slash in space, bro. Like, this is the worst day that's ever happened to me. And I've been to hell, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm going to miss all my boys, Like, a couple times I've been out with, like, Freddie and stuff. And now, like, all that's shutting down. Dude, I don't even know, man. It's like, this has been tough. Like, this day is a real killer, And that's Friday the 13th. Like, it's just, that's my day, And they just, like, raining on my parade. How dare they, man? Like, anyways, I don't even know what to do, man. I'm just, like, kind of tripping out here by myself. Anyways, thoughts and prayers, guys.
Today's game, the Pink Panther Hocus Pocus Pink, which is a 1997 PC educational musical adventure game. Yeah, it's all of those things. And it has an insane plot, which involves the theft of teeth, and a mad dentist, and an anthropomorphic wombat. All of that. Anyways, doesn't really matter. I want to focus on this Hocus Pocus Pink. They've changed the C's and these to K's, so now we have 3 K's down here, and that's questionable. Anyways, I don't know who's still after the Pink Panther, but this game is about $150 to $200 if you want the big box for this. Yikes, and it sells quickly. I followed 2 that sold almost instantly. Just the jewel case is like $40. Why? Who is after this? This is from a 1963 film series. And guess what? The Pink Panther is not the thief. He is not the thief at all. The Pink Panther is the name of the diamond in the movies. The thief is named the Phantom. The Pink Panther comes from the theme that was played with the animated Pink Panther in the intro. That's where he comes from.
If you've heard this one. A novelist, a spooky house, a novel that needs to be completed, but a compelling mystery that drives the action forward. Are you thinking Alan Wake? Because I am thinking Scratches, a small box PC adventure game that came out in 2006. Oh yes, you are a novelist trying to complete your book, and I don't want to spoil the plot, but I'm gonna. It turns out the scratching that you're hearing all over the house that makes you investigate the mystery is coming from the previous owner's deformed son that they had abandoned there. Yeah, well, on the positive note, this game is like $10, and it's, hey, here's a good note. It was the first adventure game ever published out of Argentina. That's something. Hey, Scratches, $10. Got a cool cover. I know you guys know what zombies are, but do you know about Zombie? And if you're thinking, hey, does that have to do with the George Romero movies or Fulci and the very confusing naming convention that happens for those films? No, but yes. And if you're thinking, hey, does it have to do with that Wii U game that came out in 2012 and was a launch title by Ubisoft? No, but yes, maybe the re-release that happened on the PS4 and Xbox that only released physical copies in Europe? No, but yes, what I actually am talking about is Zombie. This came out in 1986 for the Amstrad and then was later re-released in 1990 for the Commodore 64 and some other systems, but it is related to that series, and it's Ubisoft's first game, and it is inspired by Dawn of the Dead because this game happens in a mall. There is no other Dawn of the Dead game. This is it. Go find this game. What an amazing title, and what a weird history. It's kind of expensive, though, so you're going to have to pay up.
Monster in the mirror? It was me. Miss Carmen had messed up. Totally. And now I was trapped inside the body of a bee. Gets me every time. It's a fun book. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about a not fun game, and that's Goosebumps Horrorland for the PS2, the Wii, and the DS. Good news, it's cheap, $15 to $25, all day, no problem, unless you want this copy. Then it's a problem, because this copy goes for between $400 and $800. That's what people are asking. Don't pay that. Why? It's because of this slipcover. It's the only unique part about it. The rest of it are just retail copies. It comes with this book, Calling All Creeps, which doesn't make any sense because it's not a Horrorland title. This is Horrorland. It was brought out to celebrate the offshoot series of Goosebumps, Horrorland. What is it doing in this? I don't know. Anyways, just buy the regular copy. That's like $15 and pass on this unless you really love Goosebumps. Also, the Wii version is just a paper wraparound, way harder to find. Anyways, I'm going to go play some Game Boy. Today, an easy one. Zombies Ate My Neighbors for the Super Nintendo or the Genesis. Made by LucasArts, published by Konami in the year 1993. And it's a good one. It's a classic. Everyone loves this. It's co-op. It borrows from that 50s pulp horror theme. And what can you say about it? It's about $100 CIB, $150 if you get all the inserts. What a great game to play this time of year. But let's dig deeper, shall we? Let's go to this box, which we don't know a lot about. We can tell you that this box is made in Mexico, the other one is always made in Japan, that this box has different inner flaps that aren't quite display and aren't quite retail release. There's a lot of speculation, but no one really knows, so don't believe them. That's the facts about this game. People are asking for like $4,000. The last one of these sold for like $2,000. That's like a gross overpayment in my opinion. Maybe just hold off on this one, especially since Limited Run just released this for the Xbox and PlayStation and Switch with this box art. There's a lot of this box art now. So it's cool, but it's not that cool. Today we have Elvira 2, The Jaws of Cerberus, published by Accolade but made by Horrorsoft in 1992. It's a 2D point-and-click adventure RPG game, and it features the Mistress of the Dark herself, a human innuendo, a walking double entendre, and absolutely my first childhood crush for all the obvious reasons. And what else is obvious about Elvira is that if it's a game with her, you know it's going to be horror, and you know it's going to be Halloween appropriate, and this one absolutely is. Except for this dog demon. I know it's a Cerberus. It's a mythical creature. I don't know why they made it a demon here. The first game features a much better Elvira cover, but it's a worse game, and Elvira is kind of an afterthought in this one. This one focuses on Elvira's life. It's a much better game. Even though it's got this weird dog demon, I assure you you're going to get horror and Halloween goodness in this one. It came out on the Commodore 64, the Atari ST, and DOS. It's about $100 on most of those. Go find this one. What an appropriate, good game. If you like Elvira, also good. But also the only other game on this series that was outshined by its pinball machines. You had to know there was zero chance I wasn't going to bring up The Nightmare Before Christmas this month. This is Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Pumpkin King. This is for the GBA. It is not the same as the ones on PS2 and Xbox. That's Oogie's Revenge. This is a platformer. This is a prequel. Those are sequels. And this game is pretty good. It's a lot of fun. It does have one big fatal flaw, and that is the music. And music is so important to Nightmare Before Christmas. You know how it sounds. You know what all the music is, what the sound effects should feel like, and they are just flat. I don't know if it's just that the sound engineers didn't do a good job or if it's the hardware itself that provided the limitations, but it's not good, and it diminishes an otherwise fun game. And just look, man, so good. This is definitely worth the $30 for the cart, but if you want a complete box, a little expensive. It's about $100. If you're going to get it, make sure you get this. This is a poster that's inside. This side right here is a cutout toy, so I don't know how many were destroyed, but some amount. So make sure you get the complete thing. Do you like hard to spell words like Cthulhu or R'lyeh? Have you ever used the word Eldritch in conversation? Do you like the idea that just seeing something so beyond your understanding would drive you mad instantly? Well, if so, you're probably already familiar with the works of H.P. Lovecraft, but let me talk to you about Call of Cthulhu, Shadow of the Comet, which is based on the Shadows over Innsmouth and the Dunwich Horror. Actually, the first print of this game, they didn't have Call of Cthulhu on that. It was added in the second print because they figured we wouldn't get it. Anyways, this is a PC adventure game released in 1992. That's important because, if you know, we had a mouse back then that you could use for computer games, except this developer decided not to let you use it and give you kind of a bad control scheme. And that's the big knock on this game, is that you can't use a mouse. They said a good game, okay game, would have been good or great if that was there. Anyways, check this out. It was released in many places and like many countries, many languages, so there's many variations. Anyways, Call of Cthulhu. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. This is the collector's edition. It's available on the PS4, PS5, and the Xbox and the Xbox Series X. This game is an asymmetrical kind of horror game, but not really. So you can either play as the Ghostbusters or the ghosts, and your objective is either to evade the Ghostbusters or to capture the ghosts. Pretty fun game. This collector's edition, though, includes a couple of things that are of notes: a sticker, a poster, some skins, and inside this is actually a book over this slipcase, you know, made of cardboard, of course, that contains everything, and it's shaped like Tobin's Spirit Guide. So that's pretty cool. What is unfortunate about this game is it's not really very balanced, and while you can have fun with it for a while, it does get pretty hard if you're the Ghostbusters to catch the ghost. Good news, it's coming out for the Switch. I'm hoping they made some changes for that, and this is not too expensive. You can pick this up for under $50. Today's game, Dracula Haku Shaku. And I know I'm saying that wrong, but in English it's The Man Called Dracula, or just Count Dracula. All the translations I've seen kind of vary. It was produced in 1992 by Dark Forces, which is also a company called Fairy Tail. Same one that I don't know why the titles changed. I don't have that history there. But this game is it's for the Sharp X68000. It also came out on the FM Towns and the PC 9801. It is hard to find. It is kind of expensive. More because it's hard to find, I think. I don't think the demand is there. But this game I would describe as an erotic horror game. And it's a point-and-click adventure / visual novel with a little bit of puzzling in it. I lean mainly visual novel on this. But it's the story of Dracula as interpreted by Fairy Tail. It's a pretty interesting game. Fairy Tail is known for their awesome sprite work. Again, this came out in 1992, so by those standards. But it looks great, and I wish I could show you any of it, but mature themes. Anyways, go check this game out if you want. Go watch a video. You can find lots of info on this on the internet if you look hard enough. Heading into the fourth quarter of 2002, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was released on the Xbox. Why is that interesting? Because this is an Xbox exclusive. A real Xbox exclusive. One of the few. That means it hasn't been ported anywhere. It's not on the PC. It's a true exclusive for the Xbox. They just hardly exist. And it's Buffy, and, you know, you get to play it for Halloween. It's also a competent game. It's not like one of these trash games that no one really wants to play. This got pretty well reviewed. I mean, right now it definitely shows its age, and it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You may not be engaged with this franchise anymore, but this is a long-running franchise that has a still pretty solid fan base. So, pretty collectible item to add to your Halloween collection, and it's under like $25. You can get this for like 15 to 20 sometimes. Go find this. There are a lot available. Go get it. It's a good one to add. And hey, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You won. Today, I'm here to talk to you about the Horror of Cridewell, a disc-based game for the PC 9801 or Sharp X68000. I'm sorry. That's a weird way to start a video. The Horror of Cridewell, as I said, is a disc-based game for the Sharp X68000 or PC 9801. It's a Dojin game. If you don't know what a Dojin game is, that's probably just because I said that word wrong. Basically, it means that it's an independent release, homebrew, wasn't released by a major developer. It came out in 1992, and it's a point-and-click adventure, text-based, limited graphic game. So it's pretty rudimentary. There's not a lot of info on this game, at least not on our Google. So if you Google this, you're going to find like one bad Reddit thread, and you're going to find a couple of videos with very limited content, which doesn't tell you much. You'll find out like, oh, this game's about a detective in Boston and its agency, and it's investigating like a mystery, and it's said to be Lovecraftian, and that's cool. Really, I'm showing you this because I wanted you to know what I would do for you. Would I plumb the depths of independently released Japanese horror games for this Halloween thing I do? Yes, I would. Look at what I did. Who even knows about this game? It has a sequel. Please, if you know more, contact me. Scooby-Doo's Maze Chase for the Intellivision came out in 1983. It's your basic maze game. Think of Pac-Man. To that top-down view, you play as Scooby. You collect these ghosts to ward off this skull right here. You also get a Scooby snack in the form of a submarine sandwich. How good is that? Classic Scooby. This is really cool. It's the first Scooby game, but it almost wasn't. This game, when it originally landed on the marketing table at Mattel, they were calling this Three Blonde Mice. That's what the creator intended. But Mattel marketing went, we're going to pay for those licenses for those cartoons we just bought. We're going to leverage that. So we got this Scooby game instead. And I'm so glad we did. It lends beautifully to this. Like, it's not the hardest game. It's only 10 levels. It's pretty easy. But this is the first Scooby game now. And look at this cover. There are better Scooby games, but not better Scooby covers. If you buy this, $80 to $100. But make sure you get the overlays that come with it, all right? Pick this one up. Are you afraid of the dark? If so, good news, because we have Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Tale of Orpheo's Curse. This came out in 1994 for the PC, and it takes place during the 4th season of the show. So if you like Myst or Myst clones, that's what this is. This is a Myst clone, and pretty weird that they just kind of went with that formula for this show. So it's like adventure, puzzle solving, kind of point and click stuff going on. It's got pretty good reviews. But the weird thing about this game, even though it was made by Viacom, it's their first game, a big studio, a lot of money, is you can only usually find the game like this in this jewel case, when it should be in a big box. Normally you can find this for $35 all day long on the internet, on eBay. It'll have a little barcode over here, right? But if you open it up, you can see no barcode. And that's because they just slapped that on after the fact. I've seen pictures of the box, I've seen the manual, but I haven't yet found it though. So, if you like Myst clones, find this one. And if you like the Midnight Society, well then I have one question for you. Do you often think there are just too many games about haunted houses or hospitals, sanitariums, mental asylums? Do you wish that haunted games had a more luxurious location? Perhaps a hotel, somewhere upscale and well-appointed? Something like The Shining? Well, how about... No, I can't give you The Shining, but I got Inherent Evil. The Haunted Hotel. Yeah, you wanted The Shining, but this is all we have. There's no Shining game. So you got this instead. It came out in 1999 for the PC, though there was a re-release in 2005 by a different studio, which corrects some of the errors. Some of the errors being there's no saving in this game. It's got an interesting story, but horrible acting, medium sound. I mean, it is of its time, 1999. It's billed as a cross between The Mist and The Shining, and it will give you some of that for about $100 if you want to pony up. Though you can definitely find a deal on this because I know that not many people are looking. Anyways, Inherent Evil, The Haunted Hotel. We've reached the end of the month and I only have 3 games left to talk about, so let's get to this one. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the Atari 2600, released by Wizard Video Games in 1983, based on the 1974 film, loosely. There's not really enough story in this game to say more than that. This is listed as number 8 on that, but Wizard Video Games only ever did 2 games. This and one other one. I bet you can guess which one it is. The quality control coming out of there was pretty bad. Also, because these games were controversial, stores didn't want to carry them, and this became kind of a problem. This game is now pretty rare, hard to find, especially hard to find complete. Even the manual cart, each component is hard to find, the box being the hardest. The cart probably being the easiest, but these are shabby looking and they are faked a lot, so you have to be very careful on what you're looking for. You can kind of see they're always going to look kind of beat up. A mint condition one I would be very suspect of. Anyways, happy hunting on this one. Halloween for the Atari 2600. Produced by Wizard Video Games in 1983, which means that this is the 40th anniversary of this game, which is awesome. So let me tell you a little bit about this game. In this game, you play as the babysitter trying to save the kids, unlike Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you are the killer. But this game, while referencing the 1978 film, doesn't actually make any calls to it. Aside from the soundtrack and the box art, there's no named characters in this. So maybe they had a license, maybe they don't. Doesn't matter. Wizards Video Game went out of business. They went bankrupt during this. This and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, too much controversy, couldn't get it sold in stores. So the quality for this is all over the place. If you want this game, don't expect a mint copy. And if you do, expect to pay quite a bit. These are always like peeling and damaged and off-center labels. It's kind of a mess there. But if you do want one, expect to pay between $400 and $800 on this cart, depending on condition. And if you want a complete in box, yikes, you're going to pay out the nose on that one. And beware of fakes. There are a lot of fakes, like this fake. You ever seen a double ender? It's a fake. This box, it's a fake. This box, it's a fake. Beware of fakes, but by Halloween, we finally arrived. It's Halloween. And what do you do on Halloween? Why, you trick or treat, of course. Yes, this is Trick or Treat for the PC, made by Junkyard. Is it a point-and-click adventure? You bet your bottom dollar it's a point-and-click adventure. It's all 90s all the time in here. Anyway, I want to tell you a little bit about this game. It's rare and obscure. You might pay $10, you might pay $200. If you're a dummy like me, you pay $200 because it's the only copy available, and you really wanted to show you guys. Anyways, I really want to read you the synopsis of this game, so let me get right to that. On October 31st, you embark on your new career at the Senior Care Center. But your arrival is marred by the theft of your car by the former care assistant. Inside, you introduce yourself to the elderly residents, who promptly enlist your help to find supplies for the Halloween party that night. Little do you know that these seemingly harmless seniors have dark intentions, and they are part of a sinister sect. They seek to use someone, and that someone is you. You are to be part of a gruesome ritual designed to resurrect their long-dead leader. Now you must, while helping them, plan your escape. You are very young. They are very old. How will you get by? I don't know. Anyways, Trick or Treat is a real treat. Don't pay $200, though. Find a ROM. Happy Halloween.